はい。じゃあ、まず今日は何か質問がありますか？
はい。
ある。
ちょっと。この例文は私のことを本当に理解してくれるのは彼女だけだと言い、sorry. 理解する、versus わかる in this case. I don't, because the translation I found for this basically was just like, she's the only one that understands me kind of thing.
もう一度言ってください。この
そう。私のことを本当に理解してくれるのは彼女だけだ。
るのは彼女だけだ。OK. Is your Google Doc open?
はい。
Google Doc は開いてますか？
はい。
じゃあ、私のことを本当に理解してくれるのは彼女だけだ。
そう。
So the difference between 理解 and what was the other one? 理解
わかる。
わかる
or mostly just kind of like why in this case is 理解 instead of わかる which is like to understand something, right?
You can use わかる。私のことを本当に分かってくれるのは彼女だけだ。これはどちらでも大丈夫です。You can use both.
Okay. Is there any, what's the word for nuance?
So 分かる is 分かる。So 分かる could be more like wider things.
Okay.
So 分かる could be you notice something, you understand something, like you realize something. But 理解する is to understand something. So understand a problem, understand how to solve things,
Okay.
understand language, 理解する。So 私は日本語を理解します means you understand Japanese. But when you say 私は日本語がわかります means that you understand it, you recognize it, but it's not necessarily that you can speak it. So 理解する can go a little more like deeper.
A little deeper. Okay. Makes sense.
You can use 私のことを本当に分かってくれるのは彼女だけだ。You can say both ways.
Okay.
But let me take a look at the dictionary definition of, so I can probably explain. Dictionary might say something different. Okay, so when you say 分かる is, so okay, 分かる is the one that you know from your experience and your knowledge. And understand, 理解する is when you figure out how the other person's feeling and the situation. And then you understand the mechanics of how things work.
Okay, yeah.
So because now, in this sentence, you are understanding how your 彼女, your girlfriend, is understanding me. So how I feel. That's why they used 理解する.
Sweet. Interesting.
There's a lot of subtle difference, but I mean, people use it interchangeably.
Okay. There's so many synonyms in Japanese.
Yep.
It's so cool. Also, actually, one question that's not necessarily just Japanese, but I know like you study like Spanish and Portuguese, and I think you've done some French before too, right? Or,
Yep.
but anyway, I want to ask you like what would be some tips, I guess, or like how do you set up your, language learning routine, or what do you do on the daily to kind of, or what have you found the most helpful, I guess, in terms of just.
So for me, I would do a lot of listening because if you can't hear what they're saying, you can't even figure out what the word you're looking for. And in the beginning, I know that everything like sounds very similar and you don't know where the cutout is. It's like it sounds like a whole long sentence. So you can't even figure out, where the word ends and the new word begins. So Spanish to me was very easy because the vowel sound is very similar to Japanese. You only have a, e, I, o, u. And Japanese has a, I, u, e, o. So it was very easy for me to look up words. So that really helped. And so once you can hear most of the sound, and what I do is I will start writing what I want to say. So in English. So I will like write phrases that I use every day. So like, how do I do this? How do you say this? What is this? What's the meaning of this? So those are the things that I can use to ask questions to native speakers. And then, a lot of times people, when they study, it's very passive. So they just learn, phrases, words, thinking that that's going to help them. But when it comes to speaking, they don't know the very easy phrases and words. But then they know like some very difficult words that they don't even know how to use it. And as you know, like when you speak in daily life, you're using a very limited amount of words. And you don't really use, like in Spanish, you have the subjunctives and, very different forms. The verb conjugates in like 12, 14 different ways, right? But in daily life, you only use the present tense, the past tense. And so like, yo voy a comer, yo comí, yo comía. It's like only three the tenses. But in the beginning, you're like, okay, so I need to, know how to conjugate everything. And you memorize those things, but you quickly realize when you start using the language, you need to know very little. So you just need to find out what those are.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely don't write enough.
Because, I mean, you grew up in Mexico, right?
Hi.
So like you have Spanish class to learn the grammar and stuff. And like, even Japan too, like we learn Japanese. And then we learn, okay, so this is a noun, this is an adjective. And they were like, what's adjective? Like, what does it do? And then they tell you adjectives, like they modify, nouns and like, what are they saying? But you can already speak the language. You don't need to know the grammar, right? So it's like, you have to kind of listen and then mimic the sound. And you have to know when to use those, phrases without analyzing the grammar.
You said without analyzing the grammar? Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. I think it's so interesting, just like learning, like, because right now for me, I think I know I do English way more than I do Spanish because I moved here when I was 16, and my middle school, even before then, for the past couple of years, it was all in English, except for Spanish class, but it was like all in English,
Yeah.
And then I also went to university in English, and my understanding and writing and everything in English is so much deeper and more evolved than it is in Spanish.
Yeah.
That like just even talking about Spanish in general, I'm like, I don't even know, man. I can just like speak it, and that's as far as it goes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think it would be difficult for you to explain Spanish grammar, even though you speak it, you understand everything. So it's not really important to know the grammar, but yeah, you can speak it, right?
Yeah. It's like my roommate started learning Spanish several months ago, and he just kept coming to me with questions, and I was just like, look, man, I can tell you if it sounds weird or if it doesn't sound weird.
Yeah, so that's like it. That's the key. So when you know when somebody's using the wrong grammar, it sounds weird. It doesn't fit right.
Yeah.
So when you can figure out when something is not right, it's not right. So that's when you know you got the it's right.
Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. It's interesting. Of course, not that I'm anywhere of a high level in Japanese at all, but I have had a couple of moments before where I was watching some video on YouTube, and it was a gaijin speaking Japanese, and there was something about in there that I was like, that doesn't. I don't think that's. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's wrong, but it's not right. I don't know what. Yeah. So it's just so interesting. The subconscious is nuts.
I think it's like learning a language is like training to build your muscle. It's like you do it repeatedly and without even like thinking about it, and it becomes muscle memory. So because you hear it so often that, when you hear something else, it's like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Because it becomes automatic.
Yeah, same with like playing music or instruments or anything like that too.
Yeah.
The same. Well, music is language, and there's that whole thing. But okay, I'll also this other one over here where it's just this phrase, and I'm pretty sure I understand that. It's just okiyotsukete. And I know it basically just means like take care, right? But
so what does kiyotsukeru?
Kitsukeru like a carry your chi, your energy, kind of like.
Okay, so
does that make sense?
So kyotsukete
like guard
is used so when you have a kid and kids playing in a park and kids playing by himself, and then there's a swing by him, and then mother would say kyotsukete, there's a swing, kyotsukete. So kyotsukete means like be careful.
Okay.
So ki, right? Ki could be anything. So kiotsukeru means like pay attention to what's happening. Be careful. So when you say okiotsukete, it's like this is something it's said to the person who's leaving. So I think this comes from people who are leaving the house and going somewhere, and you're saying that please be careful, you don't know what's going to happen. And then in return, like this became take care. But you're really like telling them that there might be something bad on the road. So you need to, pay attention and please be careful.
Okay, that's kind of what I was wondering, if there was like a sense of, hey, there's a potential danger, so this, as opposed to just like a regular later, Okay,
so
cool.
When you say okiyotsukete, it's a very polite form of saying, goodbye. It's kind of like Spanish, like cuídate.
Yeah. Makes sense. Let me see.
はい。子供の体や心を傷つける虐待が 1年に19万件以上あった。This could be a very difficult article.
Yeah.
Okay, so you wanna read it?
I hope I can. Yes.
はい。
So, 親など actually, in this case, because I know oya is odaka, so it would be oya wa, right? But nado is como nado, right?
親など
So
から、
then would be oya nado.
親などから。
親など。Okay. So, 親などから子供への虐待があったとき、児童相談所。Don't really know what that means. A place for something.
So,
right?
So the first two kanji, when it's read separately, it's jido. Jido means kid, child. Jido. But I think when it's in a word like this, it's jido sodanjo.
Jido sodanjo.
Sodanjo is a place where you call to ask questions. It's kind of like almost like a customer, like a service center. So it's like a place where you call and ask about kids, any problems.
Okay. Kind of like a school office type thing, or
Okay. Oh, it could be like a government facility, but it's like you can like ask about anything.
Like a social services type of thing.
Yep.
Okay. So 児童相談所は相談を受けたり注意したりします。注意したりします。注意は何ですか？
注意 is to like warn someone.
Okay.
So
actually, let me pull up a dictionary real quick. I can look this up faster. Oh my god.
注意 is like give advice, give warning.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So 注意したりします。厚生労働省 right によると、によると、今年3月までの1年に児童相談所で分かった虐待は19万3780件ありました。そう。
ここまでまず分かりますか？全部。
全然。
じゃあまず let's do the first sentence. 親などから子供への虐待があったとき、児童相談所は相談を受けたり注意したりします。これはどういう意味ですか？
虐待。
That would be like abuse.
So basically, 受ける。
そう相談を受ける。
No. I was going to say that basically that has been brought to the attention of the center that there is some abuse to these kids coming from the parents.
Right.
Kind of.
Yeah. So 児童相談所 is a place where they take calls and where they warn people. So that's what they do.
Okay, and then 厚生労働省によると、今年3月までの1年に 児童相談所で分かった虐待は、19万3780件、件でありました。は何ですか？
19万3780件ありました。So,
The can.
Ken. So Ken is used for like cases. It's the counter for like cases when there's an incident, accidents, crime. It's the counter for those. So there was 193,780 incidents of abuse was found by the 児童相談所 by this March this year.
Yeah. That's a lot. So 毎年増えていて、今まで一番に多くなりました。
これ
Yeah.
はどういうんですか？
Yeah, that that every year has been increased, and this year is at its highest so far.
毎年増えていて、今までで一番多くなりました。Yep. That's correct.
虐待の中で一番多かったのは、子供にひどいことを言ったり、子供の前で家族家族を殴ったりして、なんですか？
殴る。
いいし家族を殴ったりして、子供を心を傷つけることでした。
はい。どういう意味でしょうか？
子供をひどいことを言ったり、家族をthat these kids have had injuries from the punches or gakuru coming from their family, and they have, well, actually the first part is kind of confusing. I'm not gonna lie.
ちょっと違うかな。The first part 虐待の中で一番多かったのは So the most cases in these abuse was 子供にひどいことを言ったり。これわかりますか？ What's ひどいこと？
ひどいこと like something is bad.
Something awful. Yeah.
Cruel, yeah.
So the parents saying cruel things, awful things to kids. And 子供の前で家族を殴ったりして、So in front of the kids, somebody will hit the other family member.
Like a domestic abuse, like spouse.
So
okay.
It's not directly towards the kids, but then the kids watching that, somebody being hit, and then their heart, 心を傷つける, so their heart is not injured, but their heart's like broken because they've seen abuse that's being done towards the other member of family.
Right. So just like emotional abuse.
Yep.
Basically. Yeah. Well, this is depressing. Okay. So 56 10, right? 10% ありました。So there's so they're saying that 56.3% of these kids of the 190,000 are receiving this kind of abuse.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. So 特に父親が母親を殴っていること ところを子供が見てしまうことが増えています。So especially the dad being the aggressor toward the mother is what the kids are seeing most, or it's increasing, right? Okay.
So what does 見てしまうこと、これわかりますか？
見てしまうこと like something they have seen.
So when you say 見
Yeah.
てしまう means like unintentionally they watch it. So it's not like the dad was like, okay, let's, see this. I'm gonna hit my mother. It's not like that. 子供が見てしまう so it was very unintentional, but kids might be like in their rooms and then they come out and then they see it. 見てしまう
Okay.
Kind of like an accident.
Interesting. Okay. That's just interesting. So 次に多かったのは子供を殴ったりして体を傷つけることで25.4% でした。
はい。
So basically in next like the 25.4% are the kids actually receiving physical injuries to their bodies.
Yeah.
子供の世話をしなくなることがいい。17.2%、性的な虐待も1.1% ありました。
はい。子供の世話をしなくなる。これはどういうことですか？
Right.
世話。
They
世話。
have passed. 世話はno.
世話 means to
cheating.
take care of someone. So 子供の世話をしなくなる means that the parents stop taking care of their kids. They stop providing, they stop doing stuff. それが 17.2%。それで、性的な虐待。これは何ですか？
性的I'm cheating. Oh, okay.
Sexual abuse.
性的虐待1.1% ありました。
はい。
Yeah, so that's happening. Okay. So I hate this article so much. So 厚生労働省 no, that's not right. 厚生労働省児童相談所でもでもっと相談を受けることができるようにして子供の命を守っていきますと言っています。
これ厚生労働省。それとはいのね。厚生労働省。
厚生労働省。児童相談所。
児童相談所。
児童相談所。そう。
児童相談所。
はい。児童相談所。男女はいto? Oh wow, never mind. So 児童相談所でもっと相談を受けることができるようにして子供の命を守っていきますと言っています。
はい。じゃあこれはどういう意味ですか？
でもっと
厚生労働省は分かりますか？
わかりません。
厚生労働省は it's a government sector. It's Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare.
うん。OK。OK。で、相談、OK。相談を受けることができるようにして、子供の命を守っていきますという。Basically, something about protecting the kids' lives, and that's what they've been discussing, I guess.
When the sentence gets longer like this, it's kind of difficult. So the Ministry of Health and Labor and Welfare said, or is saying, that they are making it so that 児童相談所 could receive more inquiries or more calls to protect kids' lives.
Okay.
So the government is trying to make things better so that this 児童相談所 can receive more calls. So basically what they're saying that they're helping these 児童相談所 to do better job.
Of course. Okay, well, that's good. I hope they do the best job. Okay, cool.
これは難しいですね。It's a very difficult article. Let me read it through. 親などが子供への虐待があったとき、児童相談所は相談を受けたり注意したりします。厚生労働省によると、今年3月までの1年に児童相談所で分かった虐待は19万3780件ありました。毎年増えて今まで一番多くなりました。虐待の中で一番多かったのは、子供にひどいことを言ったり、子供の前で家族を殴ったりして子供の心を傷つけることでした。56.3% ありました。特に父親が母親を殴っているところを子供が見てしまうことが増えています。次に多かったのは子供を殴ったりして体を傷つけることで 25.4% でした。子供の世話をしなくなることが 17.2%、性的な虐待も 1.1% ありました。厚生労働省は児童相談所でもっと相談を受けることができるようにして子どもの命を守っていきますと言っています。
Much better than me. ありがとうございます。
If you want to do another exercise, I have something.
Okay.
You want to try?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you can go back to the Google Doc, I have a picture. If you scroll down.
Oh, I see it. はい。
じゃあ、I'm gonna ask you questions and then please answer in Japanese. 日本語で答えてくださいね。
そうそうそう。
じゃあ、お母さんと娘は今どこにいますか？2人はどこにいますか
？La cocina. How do you 日本語で cocina は何ですか？
La palabra para cocina. 台所ですね。台所。
台所。はいはい。
台所か、でもキッチンでも大丈夫です。キッチン。
キッチン。
はい。
OK。台所。
じゃあ、このお母さんと娘は何をしていますか、今。
I mean, make like some bread or something. So, パンを作りますか？
そうですね。パンを作っていますね。
作っています。
はい。じゃあ、冷蔵庫の左にある棚の一番上には何が載っていますか？
もう一度お願いします。
冷蔵庫の左にある棚の一番上には何が載っていますか？
2、3、言葉、わかりません。なんていうのかも、those two, three words in that I don't understand.
じゃあ、冷蔵
Like
庫
to the
の
left
左
and
に、
above,
あは
but
あはあはそ
oh,
う、冷蔵庫の左にある棚 is、shelves
うん。
の一番上。The most top, the highest.
そう、カップ
そこには何が、
います。
はい、
カッ
カ
プありま
ップが
す。
あります。
あ
何個カップがありますか？
3
うん。
個お
うん
3、OK。
そう、カップが3個棚の上に乗っていますね。はい。じゃあ、お母さんと娘がいるテーブルの下には何が転がっていますか？何が落ちていますか？
これをもう一度お願いします。
お母さんと娘がいるテーブルの下には何が落ちていますか？落ちているか転がっている。
リンゴですか？
はい。リンゴが何個落ちていますか？
3個。
はい。
3
3個
個リン
ですね。
ゴが落ちます。
はい。じゃあ、椅子の上には何かがありますね。何がありますか？
バタ
はい。バターが椅子の上に置いてあります。
ーってあります。
うん。
置いて、はい、そう。
わか
See
る
now?
わかる
Am I right?
うん。そう。椅子
that
の上に置いてある。
it's
It's
butter, right? I
all,
think
うん。いや、
on top
バ
of
タ
the
ー
table.
が椅子の
Yeah,
上に置いてありますね。はい。
そう。
じゃあ、冷蔵庫の上に、上じゃないな。冷蔵庫に数字が見えますね。冷蔵庫の扉の上に数字があります。
数字は何
はい。
ですか？
数字。数字わかりますか？数
わかりません。
字はnumbers、数字。
うん。Oh,
数字、何の数字が見えますか？
12?
12？ もう一個ありますね。
わかりません。
もう一個あるでしょ？もう一つ。冷蔵庫の上に12ともう一個数字があるでしょ？見えますか？
わかりません。すいません。ちょっと
Hay,
恥ずかしい。
hay otro número, ¿no?
Oh,
Sobre
son, right?
el
On the
afiliado. はい、
fridge,
さん。はい、は
what
い。
was the 冷蔵庫？
じゃあ、そこの同じテーブルの上に果物が入ったボールがありますね。
そう。
はい。どんな果物が入っていますか？
バナナ
うん。
と
バナナ。
ペア
うん。
と、オレンジ
オレン
と、
ジ、はい。うん。
I don't, the purple ones.
うん。これは何でしょうね。
知りません。
purple one は、これは、私も何
シルエ
かわかんないけど、
ラス
バナナと、ペアは梨ですね。梨。pear is
梨、
called 梨。はい。
梨。
オレンジはオレンジでもいいけど、in Japanese we have みかん。It's a tangerine. タンジュリンはみかん。それからリンゴも多分これありますね。リンゴ。リンゴが一番真ん中にある。
果物の棒に
ボール、
リンゴが
はい。
ありません。
リンゴは、
No?
ここに赤いやつあるでしょ一番真ん中の。
赤いリンゴ。はい。
うん、
そう
はい。
そう。
多分そうだと思います。はい。
そう、1個
うん。
リンゴありま
じ
す。
ゃあ、さっき見た3つの棚の上に乗ったカップがありますね。
うん。
そこの下には何がありますか？一番下
うん
のカウンターの上。
知りませ
何？
ん。ジュース。The, what is that? Cherry? Or cherry juice?
うん、そうだね。これは何でしょう。
Fuel?
うん、多分これはなんか多分
入
入れ物ですね。入れ物。It's a
れ物。
container for something ね。
うん。
じゃあ
うん。
その棚の下、その棚の一番下、もっと下、何がありますか？
あ一番下
うん、一番下、はい。
あ、
なんかが転がって
いや、
ますね。
3個卵あり
はい。
ます。
卵が3個あります。
3個あります。うん、
はい。
卵。OK。そうそう。
じゃあ、今、時計は何時を指していますか？
あん、
何時を指
3、
していますか？
3時50分です。
3時50分を指しています。指しているってわかりますか？指している。
わかりません。Like before?
指
Or
す。指すっていうのは、when you point at
う
someone,
ん、
you say 指す。
うん、
This is 指す。
うん、
So when you describe the time, you say
う
the
ん、
時計. So the clock is pointing at certain time.
うん、
時計が3時50分を指しています。Because clock is like going like this.
うん、う
So
ん。
that's how we say
OK。
it in Japanese.
Interesting。刺す ?OK。
うん。
出しています。はい。
はい。じゃあ、お母さんが体につけているものは何ですか？緑のもの。
apron。
うん。
日本語で、apron は何ですか？
これは、2つ言い方があります。エプロン
うん。
か前掛け。
前掛け。
前掛け。前っ
ね。
ていうのは
はい。
front。うん。かける。
うん。
to hang。So you
そうそ
hang
うそ
in front of you. 前掛け。
う。うん。前
うん。
掛け。
でもエ
が
プロンで
あります。
大丈夫です。うん。
エプロン。
はい。It's kind of amazing how little you know,
Yes.
like vocabulary wise, right?
uh-huh.
Mm.
It's
So when
crazy.
you have to like describe things, you'll
Mhm.
find out like what kind of words or what kind of phrases that you
Mhm.
need to explain these things. So by
Mhm.
doing this kind of exercise,
Mm.
like you will be able to explain things better. So
Mm.
like,
Mhm. Okay.
like space-wise, like somebody in the center, like somebody behind, somebody on the left, up. Those are
Mhm.
the things that you will use in daily life.
Mhm. Mhm.
So memorizing like difficult words and phrases are
Mhm.
important, but
Mhm.
this will be just as important as
Yeah,
those
if not more
different
so.
exercises. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I
Mm.
definitely, just in general, I get bogged down with the more,
Mm.
you know, intellectual if you must, but that sounds
Mhm.
pretentious. But yeah,
So
with the more complicated things. Hmm.
what you can do is like, just look around your room and then start explaining things.
Hmm.
Where is your door located? How many
Hmm.
windows you have?
Hmm.
What's on your bookshelf?
Hmm. Hmm.
Where's your bed? Things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Can you say those things?
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
even without,
mhm.
books, you can do exercises that way.
Mhm. Or at least try.
Yep. Alright. Good. Very good.
If you, yeah,
So,
all right.
did you like this kind of exercise?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
very helpful because I don't speak or write nearly enough, and reading is a whole different story. But yeah.
I have a lot more pictures like this, so maybe like the
Mhm.
first you can ask me questions and then we can go through the reading and then at the end we can do this exercise.
That would be great.
Maybe next time.
Yes. ありがとうございました。
はい。いえいえ、じゃあまたお会いしましょう。じゃあ、
また。
良い週末を。
バイバイ。
Que tengas buen weekend, ¿eh?
Sí, igualmente.
All right. All right. Gracias.
Bye bye.